Oh, we are back. Sorry, the sun is like right in my eyes. But in today's video, I'm going to run you through all 5 of my meals on a training day. It's a little full day of eating. And I'm going to give you 5 helpful tips about digestion. Now, digestion, one of the most underrated aspects of physique development, bodybuilding, or even just day-to-day life, right? Like, a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it's very important because if you are not uptaking and utilizing the food properly, then you're not going to be using it to your gym performance. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people don't want to talk about it because, yeah, sure, you might talk about your poop sometime. But who likes to just feel bloated after every meal? No one. So, today, we'll run you through the meals, and I'll give you some helpful tips on how to improve that digestion to make sure everything is firing and is on point. I will see you at meal number 1 and tip number 1. Bam. There she is, meal 1. So here she is, meal number 1. I will pop up like all the stuff that's actually in it over there. And the total macros I'll probably pop up over here as well. So tip number 1, and probably the most important one, is just finding foods that sit well with you, right? So, for example, I know eggs and egg whites are a food source that a lot of people, they just don't sit well with them, right? They make your stomach upset. They give you the runs after. So, if you're having that issue, experiment with it. Take out one food source at a time. So, one day, don't eat eggs and see if that helps your digestion. So, like oats. Oats is another example. A lot of people, they sit heavy. They just don't feel, it just doesn't feel good right after you eat them. You're bloated. Try cream of rice. Find foods that digest well with you. Whey protein is another one. A lot of people don't digest it very well. Stick to your more animal-based chicken, beef, fish, right? Find foods that sit well with you. Another 2 things I'm going to throw at you in this little segment, this tip number 1, is fiber intake. As you can see, fruits and veg with every meal. I measure out my vegetables. This is 150 grams. That is crucial. We need to be making sure that our fiber intake, we have enough fiber during the day. So standardize your fruit and veg intake. Make sure you're having those with every single meal, either fruits or veg. I would aim for 300 grams of vegetables and 300 grams plus of fruit every day. Aim for that 30 to 40 grams of fiber. The last thing for digestion, it's a supplement actually. So in the mornings, I take L-glutamine fasted in the morning. Highly recommend it. Ever since I've been starting taking that, my digestion has leveled up. There's a little tip number 1 for you. Actually, it's kind of multiple tips. Fiber intake, make sure you got it. Fruits and veg, baby. Find food sources that sit well with you. And L-glutamine, I would highly recommend it. And I will catch you at the pre-workout meal and tip number 2. Bam. Can't beat it. Jay Cutler-like meal. Chicken, rice, broccoli, raisins, baby. All right, pre-workout meal going down. And the second digestion tip that I want to talk about is something that I'm going to be doing immediately after this meal, after I consume this. And that is a walk. So some movement after your meals, whether that's a 5 to 10 minute walk or whether you're just doing chores around the house. Just getting up and moving, getting everything moving through the system. It is one of the biggest things that I have noticed actually help, like implementing digestion walks after. Just go on a walk, get some movement in. They also say walking after carb-heavy meals improves insulin sensitivity. Now, am I telling you that you're going to notice a difference between the way that you're utilizing your carbs and uptaking your carbs if you walk after meals versus not? Probably not, but that's what the science shows, right? So that is digestion tip number 2. Going to eat this. And then I'll probably just overlay some film of my intra and pre-stack. And intra workout, I'm just having 40 grams of Gatorade powder. I mean, it's convenient, easy, cheap. Highly recommend if you're on a budget and you just need some carbs intra workout. Just buy a big container like you're seeing on the screen now. And I'm going to pair that with 5 grams of EAAs to spike muscle protein synthesis, since I will not be eating about 4 to 5 hours in between my pre and post workout. So about 2 hours after the pre-workout meal, I will down the hatch during the workout. And then pre-workout, I'm going with 1 serving of Sebum Essential and salt. Another thing I want to touch on, since it is a full day of eating, I will talk about my water intake and sodium intake. So I am drinking 7 liters of water, which I think is around 230 ounces. You can double check me if I'm right or wrong on that, if my math is correct. And 7 grams of pink salt. So that is my electrolyte balance there. Take it as you will. If you need help knowing what yours is, just shoot me a message. But yeah, that is pre-workout meal and digestion tip number 2. So see you post-workout. Workout done, upper smashed. I'm not going to show you any clips. If you want to check it out, check out the Instagram. I post pretty much all my workouts on there. But post-workout meal. Here we go, baby. We got our Frosty Flakes and our freaking bloobs. We got some dates under there too. You're like, dude, I thought you were eating healthy, you know, bodybuilder. Why cereal? Look, I'm in a gaining phase. I really don't like eating right now. Like, I'm eating 3,500 calories daily. It's hard. It's not fun to get that much food down. And these are so easy to eat, and they're fast-acting carb, right? They sit well with me. They don't cause all the sugar doesn't cause any bloating or anything. They run right through me. I'm ready to eat in 2 hours after this. And it's a fast digesting carb, right? That's kind of what you want. That's an optimal post-workout meal, right? So that is why I eat these sugary cereals post-workout. But like cream of rice would be a great option. Chicken and rice, just something. I mean, if you have fats in your post-workout, you're not going to really notice a difference. As long as it's not like 20 grams plus of fats, it's going to be a very slight difference in the way that you uptake that food, right? Actually, probably no difference. But I'm yapping. Tip number 3, right? We're on tip 3. Is a pretty easy one, pretty self-explanatory, but just space out your meals evenly throughout the day. For example, in this gaining phase, right, this is why I think having a structured meal plan is important. I'm not saying you have to eat the same thing every day, but at least have set times where you're going to eat. So you don't come to the end of your day. I think we've all been there. You come to the end of it's 10 o'clock and you have over 2,000 calories to eat, and you're just stuffing food late at night. You feel terrible. You go to bed feeling terrible. Your sleep is wrecked. You wake up super heavy the next day. Don't do that. Have some structure in your day and space out your meals every 2 to 4 hours. I recommend, if possible, right? 2 to 4 hours, because we want to be spiking MPS. We want a protein serving every 2 to 4 hours so we can spike the muscle protein synthesis. But also, it's just going to help your digestion, just spacing out, these aren't like super small meals, but they're just smaller, more frequent meals, right? Evenly space out your protein. That's going to help your digestion. So that is tip number 3. Space out your meals every 2 to 4 hours. Don't be that guy that freaking comes to the end of the day and has to cram in a ton of calories in a gaining phase, or in a dieting phase. Don't, just because you're hungry earlier in the day does not mean that you should just freaking go wild and then have no calories at the end of the day and be starving before bed. That is how you go off plan. So have a daily structure, have meal times, stick to the meal times. I'm not saying it's got to be the same time every day, but 30 minutes to an hour, I recommend trying to stay in that meal time. But that is tip number 3. I will catch you at meal number 4. All right, squad, what's the story? Story here is meal number 4 right here. Little thumbnail. All right, sorry about that. But yeah, meal 4, just chicken, rice, veg, your basic bodybuilding like meal. I actually love this meal though. It's freaking delicious. But tip number 4, digestion. We're almost done. This is actually a pretty easy tip. Kind of like a nitpicky tip, but water intake. So obviously we need to be staying hydrated, right? I mentioned the fiber intake earlier in the video. So with a high fiber intake, we need to make sure that we're drinking enough water to get everything moving, right? So hydrate. But at the same time, during your meals, do not be chugging water. I actually barely drink. I take very little sips. Most of my water intake occurs in between meals or right in the morning when I wake up. But now, I'm done with my water intake. My 7 liters are down. I'm just barely sipping on water throughout the night, because it's nighttime now during my meals, just so I don't choke. And it's also going to help my sleep, because I'm not going to be waking up in the middle of the night peeing all night. So I know when you're in a dieting phase, you might want to chug water, right? Because it makes you feel fuller. But in reality, guys, it's not gonna help that much. It's gonna be temporary. You're gonna be hungry no matter what. Don't try to over volumize your food or chug a gallon of water before your meals. Sure, it might help a little, but just embrace it. You might be hungry sometimes. It's okay. It's part of dieting. You're eating in a calorie deficit. You're doing what your body does not want to do. But tip here, don't be chugging water during your meals, because it's just going to make you feel bloated after. So get your water intake in, right? Very important. Water intake with all the fiber to help everything moving. But at the same time, don't be chugging it during your meals. I will catch you at the last meal, the oats, and the final tip, and then I will outro the video. Fellas, Meal 5 time, final meal. Got our oats, dude. I freaking look forward to these every night. We got a pile of fruit, blueberries, dark chocolate. Yeah, so that is going to go down. And tip number 5, and the final tip I'm going to leave you with, and this is actually a very important tip, is eat in a calm state and take your time and be present with your meals. Don't be scarfing them down. Don't be doom scrolling on your phone and scarfing your food down. In 2 minutes, it's gone. You're not chewing your food properly. You feel bloated after. The whole digestive system, like, it starts when you initially take that bite. Like, literally, chew 20 to 30 times. Try it, and then lay your spoon down or fork down. Sit there, chew, 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 and then do it again. Small bites. Don't be just gobbling it in, right? It's not good for you. Be present with your meals. That's also going to help you in a dieting phase feel fuller longer. And so take your time when you're eating. Be present with your meal, right? And be in a calm state if possible. I know life is full of stress, right? But if we can be in a rest and digest state when we're eating our meals, like I see it big time, post-workout, you see people freaking down in cereal, down in their protein shake immediately after the workout, thinking it's going to do anything. If anything, you're probably hurting yourself because you're not actually going to be utilizing that food the best you can. You're way better off waiting 20 to 45 minutes, even up to an hour after a workout. Just wind down, let the heart rate come down, and be in a rest and digest state. So take your time and be present with your meals, right? I'm going to go sit on the couch, chill out, watch Sam Sulik's new upload, enjoy this meal for I'm literally going to be eating this meal for 30 minutes. I'm going to take my time, wind down, get ready for bed. And then, what was I saying? Be present with your meals. Smaller bites. Don't be freaking gobbling it in, and rest and digest state. Guys, if you made it this far, man, I really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want, do whatever you want, you know what I mean? Hope you had a great day as well. But we will catch you guys in the next video.